द बैंकिंग कम्युनिटी कभी कभी क्या होता है, हाथ मुट्ठी खुलता है, कभी कभी मुट्ठी पूरा बंद कर देते हैं। जब मुट्ठी बंद हो जाता है बहुत प्रॉब्लम आ जाते हैं। तो हम लोग चाहे आप लोग थोड़ा सा मुट्ठी खुलिए। देखिए, मेरा जो पर्सनल आइडिया है, जो बैंक आप लोग क्या है जो जांच करते हैं, हमारा जो कानून जो कुछ बनाया है, दैट हैज नॉट बीन, क्या होता है, फील्ड से थोड़ा अंतर होता है, फील्ड का एक्सपीरियंस से अंतर होता है। जो पॉलिसी जो बनता है, दैट इज नॉट द रियली व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन द फील्ड। उसको सोच समझ के पॉलिसी नहीं बनता है, इसीलिए दिक्कत आता है। तो जब इंडस्ट्री में आप लोग 100 करोड़ 200 करोड़ 500 करोड़ लोन देते हैं, उसका जिसी पैरामीटर में आपको मेजर करते हैं, रिस्क पैरामीटर जो देखते हैं, सिमिलरली क्या होता है, जिसको 1 करोड़ 2 करोड़ 5 करोड़ माइक्रो फाइनेंस के लिए देते हैं, क्या यू आर वेइंग इन द सेम स्केल, सेम वेइंग मशीन। सो ये तो थोड़ा सोचना चाहिए। Without any security, we are giving to the lenders, जिसके पास कुछ नहीं है। तो हम लोग कितना रिस्क लेते हैं, कितना रिस्क लेते हैं। तो क्या होता है, जो गरीबों का माइंडसेट ऐसे है, जो हम लोग ना खाए फिर पैसा वापस करें। जब सीवियर कुछ होता है, कुछ दिन के लिए, maybe due to flood or due to any reason, कुछ दिन के लिए क्या उसका प्रॉब्लम होता है, बट ग्रेजुअली दे कम टू द ट्रैक। बट अभी सिचुएशन हैज improved a lot, COVID situation. Now activities has started, so they need this time the credit. तो दिस टाइम व्हेन दे नीड, इसी टाइम में, जैसे टाइम जो जब सब जरूरत होता है, उसी टाइम में आप लोग का कोऑपरेशन मिलता है। बट थोड़ा सा ओपन माइंड होके आप लोग दिस सेक्टर को फॉर द सेक ऑफ नॉट MFIs, फॉर द सेक ऑफ दिस पुअर वुमेन, आप लोग थोड़ा कोऑपरेशन, थोड़ा हाथ बढ़ाइए, थोड़ा मुट्ठी खुलिए। तो हमारा निवेदन यही है, विद इन दिस पीरियड आप लोग थोड़ा मदद दीजिए माइक्रो फाइनेंस ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को, सो दैट गरीबों के पास पैसा पहुंचे और वो लोग फिर ठीक से उसका जो एक्टिविटीज दे कैन रन। यही मेरा निवेदन है आप लोगों को पास। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Respected Khan sir from NABARD, Alok sir, respected dignitaries who have come here. I mean, we know that March is a very busy schedule for you all. We thank you so much. We are actually grateful that you could find time and come and attend this meeting. I mean, I may be having around 8 slides. That's the bad news, but the good news is I will go very fast explaining the data that I am trying to portray. West Bengal Association, this is an association of MFIs. We also have associate members in terms of banks, insurance company, all those who are involved into microfinance activity. It's a common discussion platform, discussing all our problems, all our challenges, even opportunities that come in. AMFI also organizes various seminars, trainings, events on microfinance, banking, digital technology, insurance, and common interest topics. There is a research wing where research is done, knowledge is shared among members, among the stakeholders, valuable data is actually shared with them. And they are also active, West Bengal AMFI is also actively coordinating with regulators, the state administration, creating a enabling environment, talking with them, about our activities and all that we are doing. The total India portfolio is around 2,28,819 crores, around 228 lakhs crore. This does not include, of course, we have to have trust on them. You have to have trust on us. The sector is going to bounce back, and this is the time that investment is made in this sector, so that in a 6 months' time, we are all actually sharing the experience of how we came out of the total situation. Very little loss has been taken by the banks. In fact, it is very insignificant lending to the social, MFIs. So they have always been on-time repayment by the sector. They continue to have that commitment to not only repay, abide by whatever covenants that you are giving us. So that's the kind of trust that we can give. If you are lending to us, we are lending it to, onward lending it to our borrowers. When you see that the borrower, impact has been made with the borrower, that gives a warmth, a social commitment has been served. So that's where we are looking for your support too, so that ultimately it benefits the bottom of the pyramid.
Dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries of the dais, representatives from different institutions, our banker friends, NBFCs, MFIs, and all others who are connected to today's program, that the microfinance sector has a great future. Now I will elaborate what I am saying. I was going through a Niti Aayog report recently which says that every fifth Indian lives below poverty line. More than 96% farmers are small marginal farmers. The recent development, if you see in agriculture, lot of feminization is taking place. Many of the women are coming in the agri space, which was not seen earlier. So if you look at all the whole scenario, there's a long way to go. There's a long way to address the poverty issues. And I must congratulate the microfinance institutions that you have entered this space where nobody dared to enter earlier. Banking institutions agenda, but that agenda is pursued by the institution like yours. So it's a great contribution that the microfinance institutions are making to the Indian economy. We have proved that the poor is really bankable. Today, what microfinance institutions are doing through these groups, the promotion of savings, the promotions of financial management at a smaller scale, and of course supported later through a small dose of credit. So we are creating micro enterprise. So in effect, if you see the role of microfinance institutions, to my mind, that these institutions are market makers. In a larger context, if you see, the microfinance institutions are market makers. But the initial dose, which the formal institutions find difficult to, is taken over by the microfinance institutions. No formal banking institution has been able to effectively serve the underserved, but you are doing. So the essence of what I am telling, that there is no reason why the microfinance institutions are not supported. There is no single reason I find for not supporting such institutions who are playing such a wonderful role in market making, in creating good clients at the field level, has given a big push to the microfinance sector. Today, you all know that in our country, we have almost 1 crore, more than 1 crore self-help groups, more than 42,000 JLGs, almost 10 lakh SHGs in West Bengal itself. So almost we are touching the lives of roughly 100 million people through SHG alone, so as to make the poor actually come out of the poverty. These institutions, when nobody wanted or rather came forward to serve the poor, it is the poor who served the poor. It is the SHGs who have served the SHGs, that we must focus our policy attention and see that this sector grows much higher and with a greater speed, so as to come out of the poverty tag that most of the Indian population is having today. But then there is a second dose of 5,000 crores meant only for the smaller players, small MFIs. And if you look at the normal refinance of NABARD, about 80,000 crores a year on year-to-year basis, roughly 75 to 80,000 crores. About 4 to 5,000 crores goes to the sector every year. In West Bengal, if you see the figure for the last 3 years, we have disbursed close to 4,000 crores for the smaller MFIs. Yes, these sectors are supported in a big way. It's an irony that I find that on one hand, the formal banking institutions are not able to achieve, who are facing liquidity crisis. I mean, see the two extremes. Can there be a policy intervention to see, first normalize this policy itself before we normalize the COVID? That while microfinance institutions, most of them, I was listening, they are using the digital media, but lot many things are to be done even now. For example, the collections, loan appraisal, the use of data analytics, the predictive analysis. There are softwares, there are programs can we use so that we can cut down, we can track the financial movement, the movement of the credit that we deploy over a period digitally. Can we monitor it more effectively? I'm really happy with the sector that despite all these bottlenecks, the recovery efficiency, the collection efficiency is very, very high. Right now, the MFIs have the resources from the banks. But as I mentioned in the beginning, that if you have to cater to the needs of the entire value chain, MFIs have limitations. Initial doses, micro loans, micro credits, microfinance services can be provided. But beyond certain point of time, who is going to take care of the requirements? Because if you have to develop the micro enterprise into a bigger enterprise, and which is the broad objective, so to some extent the financial requirements can be shared and a partnership model can be tried. Right now the business model is basically SHG and JLGs. You see, for creating ecosystem for agri infrastructure, small micro infrastructure, micro processing units, micro grading units at the farm level. I think those are the equipments, those are the activities also require push from the micro finance institutions. Insofar as NABARD is concerned, we have always been with MFIs. We will continue to be with MFIs. We will work together because the agenda is common to create an ecosystem for securing rural prosperity that cannot happen unless the micro interventions in the form of financial services is given to these areas. That within our policy framework, if need be, there would be policy review as well, but we will always work together with the MFIs and see that how this sector grows. I must congratulate the organizers for having a timely discussion on this agenda, and I am sure that our banker friends will also agree with me that this is the time to come forward and see that where we can fit in.
Respected Mr. Ajit Kumar Maiti, Chairperson, MP, West Bengal, Mr. Anjan Dasgupta, Mr. Dr. A.N. Khan, CGM, NABARD. Yes, these MFIs, they play a very important role so far as microfinance is concerned, so far as micro-lending is concerned. No doubt there are diverse players, banks are there, other players are there, and small lending banks are there. But EOW is definitely great because, as you know, there are the large chunk of the people, the large population of the people, those who really need money, they belong to the weaker sections and they want money and they don't have formal access to the formal sectors. When the collection was almost zero during the period of May, June, now it has improved to 70-80%. And even also some are claiming that now the collection is 80 to 90%. Definitely it is a very good idea and it is a very comfort to all of us. So I don't think because I see a very bright future in the days to come, especially within 1 or 2, 3 once the things are normal and once this vaccine and all these things are onboarded and the efficacy is very high. So I think that good days are coming and definitely they will come out successful. And to give boost to this microfinance sectors, especially, and our State Bank of India, we have created a new vertical, that is FIMM, Financial Inclusion and Micro Marketing, having spread over the country, and we have got 8,000 branches to specially look into this microfinance sectors. That is the only thing that we look into the microfinance sector, and this is a very big step. I can say that this is a watershed moment is here, and we are dealing with 13 MFIs, State Bank of India, and we have already have 8 MFIs here, and in the future, in the days to come, we will all the MFIs will be here. And what is the great about this branch? The only thing is that earlier we are not giving due focus, and the focus was not there. But I think once this branch was inaugurated by your chairman 2 months back, because he had come here a short visit and he inaugurated the branch. So I think this will definitely go a long way in helping the microfinance, because now we are receiving some complaints, I cannot say complaints, but some dissatisfactions that we are not getting the due the services. But I can assure you, as a state banker, we will give you due services. You will give, but because this is there. So this is the head of this microfinance unit. I can assure you, I can tell you that you will, from State Bank of India, there will be no problem, and you will get all the problems. And so far as this COVID scenario is concerned and underserved people, we want to take the help of these MFIs and who have got greater reach, so that they can the cheap fund will be available and the reach will be there. And we want to leverage both these things and take advantage of these things. So I request all the MFIs here, and I appeal to the MFIs here, please come to the bank, please come forward to on-lend and to co-lend. That's what I want. Please, for on-lending, we are there to extend credit, as our State Bank has taken conscious decision that we will more focus on co-lending. So I request all of you, please come forward, and we have got this branch is there exclusively to cater into your demands, and we are at the LHO, and it is very near, it is only a few steps away.
Participants and delegates, Great pleasure to be speaking to you. I represent MFIN, which is the national level SRO recognized by RBI, and represent all the members who are part of MFI also. In 2010 to 20, if I look back, if we see that the growth which happened is phenomenal. Because if you look at 2010-11 data, the total portfolio of microfinance institutions in India was somewhere around 10,000 or 14,000 crores, which I remember. And today we are standing at 2,28,000 crores, as Siddhar said. My figure said 2,32,000 crores, somewhere around that, 2,30,000 crores. 2,300% growth. So that has happened in a period of 10 years. And when it has happened in the same period, what has happened is that the recovery rate, we talk about COVID and all that, these periodic events, but at the same time we have to remember that any business, especially financial sector business, any sector, real sector activity, you have to see it in a trend line. And if you see the 10-year trend line, the decadal trend line, or a 20-year trend line, the sector has returned a recovery rate of 99%. Go to any country and come back and compare our institutions, and we will be best in each respect. Whether it is efficiency, whether it is manpower, whether it is process and systems, whether it is financial complexity, everywhere we will be the best. See, I can tell you that whatsoever my experience tells me, that based on not only on theoretical experience but field experience, that this is a business that whatsoever machine learning you do, whatsoever artificial intelligence you do, whatsoever data crunching you do, there has to be a personal element in that. The person, the segment which you are dealing with is not comfortable with a cloud-based delivery of services. For them to have a personal connect, it will take their operational cost to skyrocket about it. But microfinance institutions with their low cost structure have been able to do and combine process rigor, personal touch, and still keep the cost low. So within that, if I look at the operational cost of Indian MFIs, it is ranges somewhere between very good efficient would be at 5%, somebody would be 6 to 6.5%. It is the global best. You go to Centrity, which is a listed company, which might have a portfolio of 12,000 crores or 14,000 crores. There will be a small NGO or small MFI, which would be operating in 2 districts or 3 districts or 1 state at most with 300 crores or 200 crore portfolio. But if you apply the same lens of appraisal, balance sheet based appraisal, which I say, to those 2 entities, this is not fair. The business is the same, but the dimensions are completely different. And on the regulatory piece, you must be comfortable because no industry in the world, financial sector industry, is as tightly regulated as the MFIs in India. You have a pricing control, you have a loan size control, you have a tenure control, you have what's not, you say, name it, and the control is there. And so on that part you are well assured, and that is what has earned the trust of you. So I would request that when you do the appraisal, try to be a little flexible, as focus on the customer connect of the institution. If you can appraise that how strong the institution is to the client, how related the field processes are to the client, I think that would do you a lot of good. And institutions, time has come to walk the talk, I would say. With your support, only the industry has come to this level. With your support, I think it will reach much higher level. Today, we serve, the industry serves including banks, small finance banks, NBFC. The World Bank report, that's an objective report, the Findex 2018, I think, it says that only 9% of adult Indians in 2018 had borrowed from a formal source in a previous year. So still a huge credit gap. And that credit gap of 50,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, 1,50,000, 2 lakh rupees, 2,50,000, that cannot be met by a bank. There has to be a cooperation. You will continue to be a wholesale lender, and the MFIs will do the ground level work of retailing the client, retailing the 17% to India's GDP. And when we have worked out the microfinance industry's contribution, it comes out to 3.5%. That's a huge contribution. 3.5% out of 17% in financial services. So you can understand the multiplier effect, because the size in numbers, we are 2,30,000 crores, and India's banking sector credit would be multiple times ahead of that. So in that proportion, the multiplier effect of microfinance credit is much higher. Honorable Indian Prime Minister. You see, after COVID, Governor RBI, he came for, I think, special addresses before the statement of monetary policy, developmental and regulatory policies 4 times or 5 times. All the times he spoke about microfinance. And his attention was so quick that in July, because generally before the MPC, Monetary Policy Committee meeting, he holds a small meeting with pre-monetary policy meeting with market participants where I am also invited. So we spoke about the concern of small and medium MFIs. And within 10 days, he placed a liquidity fund of additional special liquidity fund with NABARD of 5,000 crores. So the contribution is documented, is acknowledged, is empirically proven. So I would only request my banker friends to be with us, to sometimes while appraising the smaller MFIs, try to shift the approach of how you look at appraisals. It may not be perfectly fitting with your financial analysis and ratios and fancy balance sheet analysis. Kindly look at their field operations and you will find them impeccable. The regulatory architecture is so foolproof that you won't find much gaps in that. So continue to support with us. We are happy that on a working evening, so many of my banker friends have come all over from the various parts of the city. We are thankful to you.
We are dealing with the base of the pyramid. Like we are also lenders. I mean, our DNA, as someone said, is almost the same. We are doing poor man's banking, and you are doing banking. I mean, you are giving lending to us. You know, so it is at this crucial time when the poor require funding. We are there to fund them. So we actually request at that time that, I mean, you should come to us, you should support us continuously and help them get out of this situation.
What I believe that the microfinance customer, they are not at all poor because they are high in responsibility. They believe that even if it is a 10,000 rupees, so it's their responsibility, moral responsibility to give it back. So, I mean, for a bank, I think most of the banks, they believe that microfinance, okay, I am doing microfinance because to meet my priority sector lending. I think from priority sector lending, so we have to think in a different way, that we should think it because I'm in the banking sector, so it's my moral responsibility also to support these unbanked people who are really for them 10,000. So that's my request to all the bankers friend here, lenders friend here, that trust us because most of the promoter, they have given their personal guarantee. So I mean, I am comfortable to give the personal guarantee when I feel that I have the kind of confidence to get back that money. So I mean, this COVID also, we should give a big claps to our bankers friend. They have opened their branches and giving the services, as well as our staffs. So they have visited their customer houses in the field levels. I think that kind of commitment everybody is having who is in the sector. I think you should also have the same kind of promise and commitment towards us for a greater or maybe the new India, Atmanirbhar India. Thank you so much.
To shake a hand with the banks, and we are playing as an extended wing of the banks for addressing the national agenda of financial inclusion. So while it's a partnership, Kuldeep has rightly told, so without your presence, we won't be able to reach to this level. Even 10 years back, where we were, we had made ourselves even to 200-fold forward. Starting from the district level crisis of Kolar in Andhra Pradesh, or even in Kerala, we have seen, and we all have experienced that we are still here. So we won't be able to meet our mission. It is not because of the personal guarantee. We are emotional, we are passionate to serve to these clients. So it's a mixture of making the commitment towards our clients as well as the commitment which we had made to our lending institution. So pay back the money in time. But this is again something without your participation, without your lending terms, we won't be able to reach to the unreached.
The common perception, as Anjanda was telling, was that giving an umbrella when it is not raining and withdrawing it when it is taking. So sometimes you are not withdrawing it, you are not taking away the umbrella, but you are taking time to give it. By that time, the rain might be over.
Not like that. Actually, the trust and we think beyond balance sheet. And many people, this is a very age-old thing that at the time of need, the bank don't come forward. So actually, what problem we are facing? We are very serious. So far as the lending to the concern, but sometimes also we are bound by some regulations by the RBI and all these things, and we have got our own things. But we are very keen for financing. All have to work together. It is not that this is something uncommon, this will not happen. That is not our feeling. We are very much, we appreciate the delinquency will be there and it will be there, and we also know that the other things are also bearing this COVID, other this political, all these things. In Assam also we are facing problem. They are the local situation not good. We are well aware of that. But having said that, these are gone are the days when the banks were going for the needy and the banks were working for the rich people. It is not like that now. And we are very much for the poor people also, and we are equally concerned, and we are also focusing on microfinance, the micro level. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Basically, your commitment there, but you have said some process things are always there, so it takes time, and delinquency is a concern. Okay. Now, on the delinquency side, before I ask the other question, let me say something, because it is a global phenomenon, and there will be some stress, and if you choke further credit, fresh credit, the delinquency will rise. So that aspect has to be seen. Let us not look for 2% or 1% delinquency to give us comfort.
The good work being done by microfinance institutions, because today you have the reach, I have the money. This is how it works. So it was always good that if both partners could work together. But then coming from the RRB background, so we do have some constraints, regulatory constraints too. See, in case of commercial bank, it is different. For example, as you were talking about priority sector. Now today, if I lend to an MFI, the MFI on lends to the same sector where I am lending, small and marginal farmers. It's a non-priority sector, number one. The second hit that you get, that because it is classified as non-priority sector, the advance rate in my bank will be definitely higher. So that will also increase your cost of operations, because you can't lend less than what I am asking for. So this is one issue which is not with the other banks, the other commercial banks who are operating. Given that, we try to help them out through the GSL mode, because in GSL we get this credit guarantee coverage. So that was something very good for us. So we were in a position to help out in that sector. Or the NBFCs. The issue that what we normally encounter, yes, that is regarding basically the documents. Timely submission of the documents, then the regular, certification regarding the receivable. That's our only security. It's not that it's only the guarantee which we are looking at. So there's no monitoring of the loan as such. And most of the loans are given, the amount is given to you, the 30,000, 20,000, whatever small amounts. And thereafter, the recovery comes, because the follow-up also is very good. Because the MFIs, one thing I need to appreciate is that the follow-up which they do, it's almost on a weekly basis, maybe even bi-weekly, for which the repayment, the recovery is really appreciable. The RBI had come out with a circular in November, the first week of November. So there, this concept of CLM, co-lending.
From NABARD's perspective, while it has done a great job, in ASLF, while focusing on small MFIs and medium MFIs, why it is taking so much time? What are the concerns you have?
Constraint of microfinance institutions, then the institutions have also to understand the constraint which lenders are facing. My friend has said from SBI there are policy constraints, there are certain things, documentation constraints. It is true that sometimes it takes little more time, but our effort has been to cut short and see that how best and within no time the decision is taken. Kolkata regional office will not take even one day to process the application and recommend to head office for consideration, if everything is okay as per the requirement. Have played a wonderful role in financial inclusion. And we must leverage that strength to see that it is taken to a higher scale and see that the objective is achieved. Once we have achieved financial inclusion, that is not end of it. We must ensure that those included are taken to a level which is above the poverty line.
Co-guarantor along with Northern Arc, with overall guarantee percentage being 20%, of which major chunk being taken by NABARD, and remaining the smaller guarantee taken by Northern Arc Capital. 2-3 challenges which we faced in actually executing, and in fact while we are still end of the year, we are still trying to put together a transaction and close it. One was with respect to the kind of institutions all parties wanted to work with. So there was a requirement of working with only with a private sector bank to start with, or the kind of institutions they could actually include in a transaction, because the whole objective of this program was to cover institutions which were not earlier covered under the NABARD program.
Entities and new to refinance would be low, and for smaller and medium MFIs, the NBFCs are also the major lenders. So why not this co-guarantee program is tried with? So are you working on that also, or it is currently limited only to banks?
Lender criteria, so it could be a private sector bank, it could be a foreign bank, it could be an NBFC. But because the program was intended to start with a banking partner, that still the attempt is to crack that piece first and then expand it to others. Because it's about getting started, and once all parties kind of understand what it takes to do a transaction like that, we believe that this will, at least in the coming weeks and months, it will actually scale up much faster.
How much lending in what Kansar already told that it is guidelines of the bank or the RBI, whatever it is, guide frame lines. So it may be the below 100 crores, above 5 crores, whatever it is. Health is the main thing. Health means your balance sheet. You may be directly involved in the poor to poor people. It is 10,000 to 50,000. But bankers, commercial bank, not like that. We are also having more than 197 branches in rural area. We are also lending to the rural small peoples. But there is the different scenario. But we are lending to microfinance, any NBFC. Some frame guidelines also there. At present scenario, COVID scenario,